What up, my freaks? RuinousInsight here with part, I want to say 32 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Malekith and Naggarond Inc. campaign. Attention, Naggarond Inc. workers. Never miss your daily dose of misery with Misery Fact, our new daily fact service. All employees have been automatically subscribed. Subscription fees will be deducted from your wages. Service fees will be deducted from your wages. Incidental fees will be deducted from your wages. Have a miserable day. Anyway, as we saw last time, we managed to have Morathi not quite ambush Tyrion, but still get into a combat with their armies one-on-one, and also kind of defeat him in sort of single combat as well. So I was reasonably happy with the result. It doesn't mean that we can take Lothar quite yet, because it's too well defended at the current time, but it also does mean that Eataine is concentrating all of its forces here and not really annoying us anywhere else. Plus Malekith is doing a great job of running around the territories of Avalorn, and Tiranoc is pretty much broken with only the Griffin Gate remaining. It would have already fallen if it wasn't for the fact that Warg is out here, and we're going to have to try to catch him with Jaden the Grey Vanquisher. Hopefully that all works out, and we don't screw that up somehow. In addition to that, Crone Hellebron destroyed an army belonging to the Shadow Legion, and we are poised to attack Conquada next, and by the looks of it, destroy them as it's their only territory. Those Ogham stones must be ours. Now, before we get started, there were, as I recall, at least a couple lords that have reached level 10, so we might as well get a few of those names of power. Furion, I mean, you're kind of a temporary lord, and you will probably remain a temporary lord, but that doesn't mean you can't, support us a little bit. So let's get you a revered name of power as well. You are Beastbinder for Beastkeeper. Go figure. Ooh, and leadership and physical resistance for Bleak Swords, Dread Spears, and Dark Shards, which is what he currently has, but Beastbinder for a Beastmaster. That's, well, we can't not do that. Bind it to your will. If it wasn't for the fact that he had Tactician, which is garbage, I would, well, maybe not garbage, but it's not great. I might have actually kept him just because of the advent of Beastbinder together with Tactician. It would actually be fantastic to have a Beastbinder following Rakarth around. So I'm giving that some thought. Anyway, in addition to that, one of the Druki resources, I don't remember which one, also leveled to 10, must be this one. You've been recruiting this entire time, yes. You're level 10, so we'll get you, since you're Druki resources, an aristocratic name of power. So a name of power that will buff the faction as a whole or the province. I don't generally think these are likely to be... Hello. Actually, this one's not bad. Trade tariffs and resources versus casualties post-battle and income from post-battle. How the heck is casualties captured post-battle plus 15 and income from post-battle loot buff the province or the faction? This is not for the faction. This is presumably for this one lord. So what are you talking about? At least this buffs the faction slightly. It probably won't give us too much in the way of money, but hey, it's for Druki resources, it makes sense. Anyway, I don't believe that we've read this, have we? Let's see what this says. During a dark and treacherous night, some insubordinate slaves made a break for freedom. It didn't take long to catch some, and for others to be ripped apart by hounds. The leader is in one of the captured groups. What is to be the fate of this traitor? Execute him. Drag him back to the city, parade him for the crowds, hang the wretch with a short rope, and then drag his corpse back through the streets as a deterrent. Let no slave think of rebellion as they gaze upon his mutilated, treacherous corpse. You would think that torturing would be a better deterrent than just execution. You can always execute after you torture. Come on now. You can do better. Alrighty, anyway, execute him for the buffs to train. Just out of curiosity, we're at 26349. Nothing crazy, but 300 gold per turn. I'll take it. For a recruiter that is essentially paying for himself, so he's basically free now, so that's not horrible, let's say, and we should get more out of that as we continue increasing trade partners, especially if later on we can trade with the Chaos Dwarfs, assuming they're not dead somewhere. We shall see. Anyway, Malekith and Helebron have moved, but Malice has certainly not, so he's got to go down to Cathay Town. Let's go to the, whatever this is, Remnants of Battle. We'll just auto-resolve this real quick. Yeah, I know he has an army, but nonetheless, not worth our time at the current time. Oh, and it's just sunken chest, so we'll grab that as free Scarecrow banner and a trunk of maps, which we also don't particularly care about, but oh well. And then you're going to head down to the Sea Lane. Just double checking that there isn't a Skull Island. There's a little island here, but it's probably too many turns away, and I'd rather not waste Malice's time. He's got to get to Lokir. Speaking of Lokir, while we do want to confederate him, we still do want to get the extra movement range out of Crack the Whips, so I'm going to re-up this, despite the 116 cost. We do gain Witch King's authority reasonably quickly after all. So yeah, sacrifice. Alright, definitely don't want to be losing that movement range, especially while we have enemies running around in the middle of our territories. Next turn we could also pop the sacrifice to Hikardi to get those additional sorceress success chances and experience rate, which ain't too bad either. Alright, who's up next? Marathi, you are going to continue as you are, as in you are going to continue ambushing. Rakarth, you're sailing down the coast to try to find us some lizards. So away you go. And then Barsathar, you are going to follow Rakarth around. Okay, fine, go this way. There we go. This is what we're going to be using as the supporting army for now. We'll probably increase the number of Bloodrack Medusae here, and we'll want to build Rakarth a Bloodrack Shrine as well, but we don't have access to it at the Golden Ziggurat as yet, so we'll do that later. The Shellray, you will be an army. So we need to get you somewhere where we can actually build an army. Which would be partially out of Grey Rock Point, but you know what, on the other hand, you could just sit here, and we can have one of the Druki resources build you an army instead. Yeah, because we do want you to stick around. I'm attached to you now, since you got that sort of cane for us. Speaking of Druki resources, you don't need to do anything at the current time, but what about you? Oh, we just checked you, so no. Alrighty, the rest of you look good to me. Let's double check all of our admirals, however, in case they need to... Oh, well, I guess... Yeah, let's build buildings first, and then we'll see if we can build buildings in the Black Arcs. Alright, money and temple, and there's really not much buildings. Those materials at sea. They certainly made admin for this campaign a breeze. You gotta love getting early materials at sea. I gotta make sure to try to get materials at sea up and running in every campaign as early as possible. Makes it seem really worth it to get one of those units up and running ASAP, Alright, you are at -10, but you're not going to be generating a lot of money. I'm not sure that we care about this at the current time. Let's go for you, Tyrannok. We could go for the public order buff here. Oh, we don't have the demand highborn hostage. Let's take that. That'll fix itself. Hexoattle's at -6. Not great, but also not horrible. Isthmus of Lustria. You know what, you can actually have the slave drive. We are going to need the growth here. In addition to that, we'll be upgrading the Ziggurat of Dawn fairly soon as well. And frankly, we want to grow Hexoatl as well, so we probably would want the same. It's just that this is all going to take some time to upgrade. I'll think about it. Maybe. We might rush some stuff. And the rest of this, I think, is fine. Let's do the Black Arcs, and let's end the turn, and then let's proceed with what we were doing. Alrighty, Black Arcs. What, if anything, can you build? You cannot yet build anything. Can you build something? Yes, you can. Let's go for Soul Brazier, and then whatever other thing afterwards. You, Admiral Leech, are at 3 and not 4, so no Dreadmans for you yet, but you're getting there. And then, I think I double-checked you, but I want to triple-check you. Yeah, oh man, this Black Arc is growing so freaking slowly. This is supposed to be Marathi's Black Arc, and it's, yeah, they're too busy with their debauchery and their Slaneshi shenanigans to grow the Black Arc. That's what I'm going with. Alright, well, either way, the rest of this is unimportant, and we can skip the rest of this. Outpost upgrade available. Do we just build the outpost now? You know what, screw it, let's just build the outpost. It's gonna bother me every single turn unless I build it, huh? Let's build it in... Oh, hello. You've got the Siege Workshop here, so the faster he upgrades Rakdo Gorge, the better. I was just wondering whether we should build it at the Clarak Spire instead. Really depends on which one he upgrades first. Well, either way. Outposts, well, it says Rakdo Gorge, so Rakdo Gorge is going to be construct outpost. Alright, there we go. Now it can't bother us every single turn for that anymore, hopefully. Alright, and now we can turn and proceed to attacking Conquata. Here we go. Unless, of course, somebody attacks us in the meantime. And Nakari, you're still alive, I see. No for Defensive Alliance as yet. I will continue thinking about it. It looks like Eataine did not fall for Marathi's next ambush. Man, Marathi's really not succeeding with those ambushes, unfortunately. Ah, damn, I was hoping that Bellicor would come back and... Ow! This guy's actually going to attack here. Huh. You know what, this is frankly kind of a waste of our time. Would we win? We would win. Look, here's what would happen. The sorceress would kill them all because she has sufficient magical prowess, so just whatever. Ow! We got an Armor of Eternal Servitude out of that? Amazing. Okay, I'm glad I auto-resolved that then. Yeah. We're not gonna waste our time with these tiny battles, especially without a minor settlement. We will, I guess, ransom captives. Frankly, we don't really need the money right now. You know, murder captives, I don't think it'll do anything nice for us, but sometimes it gives you a nice reward. Hey, these guys are gonna declare war on us. Okay, interesting. I mean, it was inevitable that all the elves declare war on... Ah, yes, this one, however, we will fight. Exciting times. Get to your revenge against Warg there, Jaden the Grey Vanquisher. Pyrrhic Victory in medium. We gotta remember that the trolls are fairly armored with 50 armor and 20% missile resistance. They got a Cygor and a couple giants as well. So we certainly have a lot of enemies to contend with and barely any melee in this particular army. It should be interesting. On top of that, the Flock of Doom is not going to be particularly useful against the regenerating trolls either. Fun stuff. Here we go. Alrighty, if we will it, well, we certainly will it. Ooh, and I love the ruddy lighting that we have in this particular battle. Makes the cold ones in particular look pretty fantastic. Ooh, yes, and well, darker green or more reddish. Hey there, cold one, you get pets. I haven't, oh yeah, there you go, you enjoy that. The cold ones haven't gotten enough pets in this particular campaign yet. Anyway, here we go, the battle is beginning, and we are going to start annoying the enemy with our artillery pieces. It is a choke point battle with a nice sort of river of lava, magma, whatever, through the middle of this. Does this count as magma because we're sort of underground? I guess we're in a cavern and... Oh, wow, what the heck? Wait, this is a Dark Elf city underground? Huh. Wait, what is this? Huh. It's built into the caverns. I guess it might be similar to Hag Grief, which has a lot of underground caverns. Anyway, I'm getting distracted by the really cool map, so my bad. Let's see what we're dealing with. Lots of enemy trolls and a couple of giants is what we're dealing with. So many trolls, I should say. Now, we're going to try our best to try to get around this enemy formation, not with all of our Dark Riders, but with enough, hopefully, to lead them away, or at least some of the enemy units away from our main formation. Unfortunately, I bet wrong, and I was hoping that by deploying here, all of the enemy would be deployed here and try to go for the single choke point, but unfortunately, they have split. In fact, they've split more trolls off on this side than they did on the other side, which ain't great for us, meaning we have to knock these guys out before switching to the rest. It's gonna be what makes or breaks this particular battle for us. Now, our artillery pieces are going to focus down the giants first. The first one has lost about half of the HP that it started with, but it looks like those Reaper bolt throwers do take quite a long time to damage said giants. That said, one of the troll units at the very least has been destroyed, or very badly hurt, at least, with focus fire from one of our artillery pieces and the rest of our archers. We also have a fairly decent position in this particular choke point, or on this side at least, because we have our crossbows, our dark shards deployed up high, so they have a slight elevation advantage and can shoot the enemies in the sides rather than directly into the backs of our own units, which I think will work fairly well. Plus, they've even got their Druki tents nearby, and everything is spiky, man. Even the things that dig into the ground, the tent stakes, have to be unnecessarily spiky. You trip and you get this massive sword-like stake just through your face or whatever. This seems like such a hazard. Why would you build tents like this? Dark Elves. I love you so. Alrighty, anyway, here we go. The enemy is moving towards our battle lines. Hopefully the Dread Spears can hold while we do the damage with our range units. We also do have 2 units of Blackheart Corsairs with handbows, which is a boon here because their range damage is actually anti-lard. Certainly should help against the trolls and the giants, even if it ain't that many. Giants are starting to make quite a mess below them as they smash those Dread Spears, but it looks like the first of the giants has managed to be brought down. Ooh, and we got lava dripping down from the ceilings as well. Huh. Actually, by the appearance of it, it looks a little bit too liquidy. Interesting. Anyway, it looks like we do manage to bring both of those giants down, but that's only half of the battle. Knowledge, I mean. And we still have other trolls to take care of. This unit of trolls is heading towards us, but it'll probably get destroyed by the various range units. There's also the enemy Cygor, which has managed to have the HP of one of our Dark Riders and about take a quarter off one of the others. Hopefully the 2 will be able to bring him down, especially with the help of our Reaper Bolt Throwers. Nice miss. Because otherwise it seems like the Cygor will do a lot of damage if we don't bring it down quick. Or relatively quick. And we still had to focus the giants heading towards us first. And it looks like the Cygor is broken at the very least, even if it's not dead. So the cavalry will be able to chase it down. We'll even send our single unit of Doomfire Warlocks out there to help out and give chase to the enemy. One of the great things about the fact that we have a lot of Dark Riders in this particular army is that trolls are far, far too slow to catch Dark Riders. 61 movement speed versus 100. So even if the rest of our army dies, as long as we have the Dark Riders with ammunition, we should be able to just stay out of the trolls' range and kill them over time. Here comes the second group of trolls, and we have been casting Flocks of Doom on them repeatedly, just out of curiosity. She hasn't killed any, but 15,000 damage isn't too bad, especially against units that particular spell is kind of garbage against. I guess it's a good thing that the enemy decided to go blob tactics and stick all of those trolls together. Alright, Jaden. Grey Vanquisher, you're going to be the Troll Vanquisher if you can manage to pull this one off. The artillery are still firing. The enemy is now heading towards us, though the Dark Riders will, of course, just book it away, and the Trolls won't be able to reach them, and we'll have to go for our Dread Spears instead. And it does look like we did manage to see the rest of the units on the other side, so we just have this side to concern ourselves with. Alright, trolls about to charge into some bleak swords back here, and then the Dread Spears as part of the main line as well. Alright, some lovely shots in this particular battle. I am loving this lava locale that we got. Alrighty, Dread Spears, just hold for as long as you can while the range units dish out the damage with their bolts. They are armor piercing, though the trolls do have regeneration. As long as we focus them down sufficiently, we should be able to, over time, knock specific units out. And the enemy will hopefully run. There we go. Speaking of the enemy running, it looks like this unit is broken. The enemy Lord is still in the fight with a couple of units of trolls, but the battle has shifted very much in our favor to about 90%. We also have these guys who are no longer chasing the enemies that were out there, who are going to help out and join the fray from this direction as well, and the enemy will be suffering hits from pretty much every direction. There we go. Nice job to the Reaper Bolt Throwers. Great job to the crews, and it looks like the last units of trolls still fighting, but probably not for long, and there we go, they suddenly start moving, and with that, the battle is ours. Fantastic. Well done to this army. Honestly, I thought that this would have gone a lot worse than it did. I actually do have to wonder whether it would have been better or worse if this had been just a straight-up open field battle instead of the sort of dual choke point that we had this time around. On the one hand, the open field battle... Is that a corpse of a giant? Why would they burn a giant alive like this? Huh. That's interesting. What purpose could it possibly serve? There's so much labor that you can use a giant for. Interesting. Anyway, I got distracted by the random giant corpse, and I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, right, it would have been interesting. Another giant corpse? Where the heck do we have so many giant corpses from? If it hadn't been a choke point battle, we still would have had to contend with the fact that, or the enemy, rather, would have had to dealt with our units, which would have been able to run around the entire map, leading the enemy away. But the enemy would have been able to concentrate a greater amount of force in a single point. So maybe, though, if we had terrain like this, we would have just used that to effect with the sort of cliffside anyway. Close victory for us, and certainly a worthwhile fight. Pretty interesting fight as far as fights have gone in this campaign so far. Also really like the map. Lava underground cavern. Fantastic. With all these Druki towers in here as well. Alrighty, well, very good job to Jaden the Grey Vanquisher. Should be the Troll Vanquisher. In fact, we're probably going to change that. I like it. That battle went a lot better than I would have thought. Well done to the Dark Riders for dishing out the damage, and the relatively limited number of range units for holding the line. We are going to... well, the Enslave is not really all that worth it. 4.6k ain't too bad, so we'll take that, I think. Another 10k. Lovely. Morathi ambush foiled. Oh, we know. And look, this guy. He is indeed going to go after Admiral Valal, though Admiral Valal's force is relatively weak. I wonder if we should stay. Should we stay or should we go? Hydrans has the Armor of Eternal Servitude. No. That one is for Legendary Lords. It has regeneration after all. Overseer for Admiral Moksha. Yeah, you can have that for casualties captured, I guess. Instrument of War completed. Post-battle chance of stealing magical items, and we have all these Blackheart Corsairs here, which we don't actually need. Okay, a little bit of a waste of money there, but I think we're going to delete you. I suppose we could actually... there's another army moving this way, isn't there? You know what, I think we're gonna have to send Leech out this way. I was originally hoping to send him with Malice, but I feel like for now, we can't do that. You will now no longer be able to recruit anything of use other than the Bloodrack Medusa. I think we'll still delete you for now. Oh, actually, you know what, we could use you as a ferry to transfer the, these units from Druki Resources to... the Ark here, to Admiral Valal's Ark. That ain't too bad. You're at 13 out of 20, eh? I'll probably want to put some Harpies in there, and what else? Well, decent amounts of Harpies will take up a lot of space, so yeah, that's probably roughly what we're going to do. We could, in theory, keep a few... let me just see here. Blackheart Corsairs. Well, you won't have any Blackheart Reavers, so you don't necessarily need them. I'd say a couple of the Feral Manticores, and then the rest filled with Harpies, something along those lines. 7 flyers, though, that feels like a little bit much. Do we want more non-flying units, like a couple more Witch Elves or Sisters of Slaughter, perhaps? Well, actually, no, we're at 14 out of 20. Nah, you know what? That's fine. 14 out of 20 if we count the mage that'll be in the army as well as the lord, so that's okay. You can then hydrants take out these guys. Just keep them for now. Move here, and we'll use you as a ferry. And then I guess you can continue building similar troops for our other army. Let's see, you are going to be named Fairy, just so that I don't forget who you are and what your purpose is. You will continue building these. Huh, why did the ranks drop? They was being built at, oh, when the Black Ark was here, it was building them at higher levels. Alright, let's get some Hargoneth Executioners. I feel like we'll build some Hargoneth Executioners and maybe even some Blackguard in the Shellraise army. Yeah, she's a life quencher, so she'll still want Witch Elves and Sisters of Slaughter, but we can have some other elites in there as well, and because she deserves them. You cannot build Blackguard from here, but you can out of Naggarond, so that's what you're going to move to. Like so, and you can build some... Oh, you can build manticores as well. Fascinating. I guess the question is whether you'll be able to build manticores soon or not. Well, it's probably going to take you a while to get this and this, so yeah, let's get you... Let's say 2 manticores. We're actually out of capacity for Blackguard anyway, which is a shame, but what can you do? Alright, let's get you a couple manticores then, and... we could go for monsters. We do have decent Charybdis and Warhydra capacity now. Now I could put some Hydras in there, although Manticores being holy to Cain would make more sense. You know what, maybe we'll do Manticores in this one. I guess multiple armies with several Manticores for monsters. Maybe want a couple Hydras? I'll think about it. They don't necessarily have to be built right now, do they? And I still probably think that we should have some Blackguard of Naggarond in here. Let's do 6 Manticores. 2 for the one army and then 4 for the elite. Well, you know, let's do 3. They can then act together, and I do want some space in case we want to build others. Alright, using a lot more Manticores than I normally would, but it's okay. Medusa will go into our Medusa army, but we'll build that one up later. We still need a lord that actually buffs Medusa, which we haven't lucked into as yet, but we will eventually. And at that point, we will obviously use said lord. Ooh.
Certainly not.
I wonder, would we be able to... What do we have in terms of defenses here towards Sarwar? I wonder if we would be able to kill everything here, but then sack towards Sarwar, rather than occupying, and then head immediately to the Gaean Vale as well. And that would be fantastic. Oh, actually, what we could do is have Kundaman take Tor-Sarwar rather than Malekith directly. And then Kundaman can then maybe move to Tor-Fanu while Malekith takes Gaean Vale, and then down through the White Tower of Hoeth and Shrine of Asurian. Oh, I don't like where you're going, Alistar. Wait, are you abandoning Lothern? What are you doing? You made a terrible mistake. Or have you? Well, there's still some decent defenses here. That, however, is not as defended as Lothern is. We might be able to destroy these armies here. Okay, we got lots of battles for next episode. Either way, it doesn't change the fact that you need to try to approach so we actually get Morathi the benefit of the Cain's support. There we go, very nice. And wait, were we gonna build something here? We were gonna build a Dreadmance, weren't we? Yeah, let's go for the Dreadmance. Money or not. Alright, beautiful. Furion, you now have a few units, but you can't do too much with them. Also, R&Ds, well, you know what, I'll move the R&Ds between the episodes. I want to try out this thing with Malekith, so, in that light, first of all, Malekith, you're going to need points. And the points are going to start moving into Slaughter Lord. It's time to start buffing those Blackguard, even at the cost of buffing Malekith. He's already pretty darn buff after all. Hagren, you have your Fire Lore maxed out, but I think we'll still go into, let's see, Miscast Chance Reduction versus Winds of Magic Power Reserve versus Cooldown. All of those are swell. Or we could do We Are the Elite, which we will, but maybe not necessarily right now. Yeah, we probably want to get to these things. Let's go for Slaughter for Cain for now. Alright, next up, Kuran. We'll probably get you one of those regenerating armors. You are a legendary hero after all, and the legendary heroes should be as well or nearly as well equipped as legendary lords. Absolute precision, and I guess we could go show no weakness, so I think Indomitable might be the better pick here. Yeah, let's head towards Indomitable, actually. We'll go for Woundmaker, mostly because the rest of this is kind of meh. Let's go for Urian Poison Blade now. Absolute precision for you, buddy. And... let's go for, well, I guess we could do the same thing and start heading towards Indomitable. We also do want Word of Cain for everybody. That missile resistance in combination of weapon strength makes it fairly decent. Impassioned for you, you are nowhere, well, actually one more level and then you'll get your Cauldron of Blood to buff everybody up. Lovely. You can, I guess, have Wild-Eyed. And then Foe Seeker. Fantastic. Malekith, you're about to attack? Well, actually, you're about to stand nearby while Damon attacks. Damon, you are going to attack instead. Wait a second. Yeah, just do it. I was just thinking, if we attack with Damon, I'm a little bit worried about Malekith suffering damage, because he won't be able to heal up after the battle, but, well, I'm just gonna hope that the auto-resolve doesn't screw us over too hard. Alright, it hurt the Dark Riders in Malekith's army, but they don't need to be there in a few turns, so that doesn't matter. We're gonna occupy the place instead of sacking it like I was originally planning. Got that Cauldron of Blood, fantastic, and another Fimir Bale Fiend. You're gonna heal up nicely, and we even kept the wood, the timber mill. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Alright, well, let's get those other levels. You got your Cauldron of Blood, but I guess we can get you replenished troops. And then you, Gren, are going to go for another point in slaughter for Cain. Fantastic. Also, can we build something special here? Yes. Faction-wide growth plus 10 and Lord Recruit rank. We really want somewhere that will give us Lord Recruit rank so that we get Lords started at rank 10. As soon as we have that, we'll be able to pick our Lords with their names of power for whatever we want, and that'll be real valuable. We can't go into Druki First Strike, but we'll still strike at the Gaean Vale. We'll probably take it a tier 3 rather than sacking it, I think. Let me see here. It's a tier 4, so we could occupy a tier 3 immediately. Or we could take 32k, but honestly, we're pretty good in terms of cash right now. I'm probably just not going to sack it, unless it offers us like 20,000 slaves or something silly like that. Then there will be a consideration. Anyway, there's a decent amount of enemies here and a valiant defeat according to this. Sounds like a good battle to me. Let's get to it.
It is done!
Alrighty, well, Malekith says it's done, so it is done. Here we go, the Gaean Vale, the capital of Avalorn, and one of the two major conquests that we're going to have to do on Ulthuan. Granted, there's, you know, a fair few, major settlements with the landmarks for us, but obviously the capitals of Eataine and Avalorn are the ones that are of paramount importance. I suppose Story of Rest as well, but the Altharion is generally weaker than Tyrion and Alariel are, or at least their factions are, so yeah, I'll take these. Anyway, we got 2 stacks to contend with and quite a lot of elite units, so we will have to be careful here. Malekith's going to start the battle off by going after this magic tower up here, and I'm just going to speed up through that a little bit, while our own artillery pieces try to knock the enemy towers down. Looks like the enemy did decide to try to move their eagles towards us while we were working on the enemy towers, but we did have our 2 masters hiding right here in the trees, waiting in case somebody tried to rush those Reaper bolt throwers. And it looks like the eagles decided that they didn't want to fight, at least those masters, and instead preferred to run away. Anyway, Malekith is done with the tower, so now he is going to begin his fighting. We're going to start it off with a basic Blade Wind right in the middle of the enemy formation here, then that Black Dragon Breath from Seraphon, absolutely wrecking that unit of Lothern Seaguard and allowing Malekith to land upon the enemy and cast the Madness of Cain, or whatever the vortex is called, for the Sword of Cain as well. Very, very nice. Malekith has certainly become a one-man army at this point. He is doing a lot of work by himself, 317 kills and 55k damage already. He does lack a little bit in the way of regeneration. It would be really nice if we could get him regeneration somehow. As in an additional regeneration, not just the regeneration that you would get from the whatchamacallit. Soul Stealer, that's the name of the ability. Soul Stealer. I had it, guys. I had it. Because otherwise it's gonna take him... well, he doesn't heal as much as we might like, and as we can see, he is taking quite a bit of damage. He hasn't activated Soul Stealer yet, though, and is just going after Eagles. And, ooh, dropping one down on the Shadow Warriors below them, eh? Couldn't quite tell if it managed to crush any of the enemy heroes, but it would have been nice if it did. Anyway, Malekith, that's a lot of eagles for you to contend with, buddy, even with all of the buffs that you have, and we're actually going to try to loop around them and away so that we can try to cast Soul Stealer on the biggest concentration of enemy heroes out here, or enemy units rather, which currently have been damaged by a flame storm from Hagren. And there we go, Soul Stealer. And finally, a little bit of regen. Alrighty, and obviously while that particular spell is up, it's not going to do a crazy amount of damage to the enemy, but it will allow Malekith to heal, and just fine. In addition to that, while Malekith has just been flying around doing his own thing, and dealing plenty of damage, up to 77k now, the towers have been by and large knocked down, which means the rest of our army can move on in. The Masters have headed towards the gate, the Death Hag is following suit as well, and all the Black Guard will be heading into the battle as well. Some to climb and some to head through the gate once the breach has been made. Anyway, another Black Dragon Breath from Malekith coming in on the Swords Masters of Hoeth, which were just standing there. Doesn't do a crazy amount of damage to them, but half HP isn't too bad. Oh, and I didn't realize that the Noxious Black Dragon Breath actually applied a debuff to them as well. Noxious Gas, melee attack, and reload skill. I wonder how long the debuff lasts. Strong versus... Huh, it doesn't actually say anything about a debuff. Interesting. And, well, at this point it's gone, so I guess it doesn't matter. Anyway, here come the Black Guard of Naggarond, led by the Phoenix Guard in particular. They're certainly going to take a decent amount of shots, but they are pretty decently resistant as well. Let's see. They do have, well, actually only 10% missile resistance, but 120 armor, to be fair. And now the gate is our main target, so Mr. Misery and the Coastal Relations Liaison will be trying to smash through that gate, while Malekith continues flying around and getting another heal out by casting Soul Stealer on another big blob of enemies. I guess one of the great things about facing off against two stacks rather than one is the target-rich environment will enable Malekith to continuously heal as long as he has mana. Or mana, I should say, and has not reached his healing cap. Anyway, Malekith has not done yet another Blade Wind, just a non-overcast one moving through a couple of those units of Lothran Seaguard, but certainly and dishing out a decent amount of damage. I can certainly appreciate Blade Wind and the fact that we can cast it for reasonably cheap. It costs 13 to cast the non-overcast version, especially considering how much damage it can do. And the fact that since it's a relatively high-hitting but quick disappearing spell, it's unlikely to move away like most vortexes do. Anyway, it looks like the Eagles have finally decided that they want to go after our unprotected range units, landing upon our single unit of Dark Shards out here. But now they're going to get caught by Malekith, by our Charybdis, the Coastal Relations, as well as a unit of Black Guard, which ran in to help. So these Eagles will be done for, and then there will be another Eagle unit out here, which is being distracted by our Sorceress, as well as our two units of Dark Riders. Not so bad, and as soon as these guys try to book it out of there, the Sorceress does have a Tormentor's Sword to use upon them. while the eagle fight is happening, we are getting our blackguard on top of the walls. It's time to finally storm said walls. These may not be executioners, so they're not going to do as much damage, and probably would lose in a one-on-one to swords masters, at least if buffs were identical. At the end of the day, they do have numbers and buffs as well, and they should hold ground and do damage long enough for Malekith to come in and help out, even with their vigor lost. Alrighty, well, we're going to be up on these walls for quite a while now. Some eagles moving in, but we do have anti-large, and looks like the first of the eagles have dropped, and more of those blackguard are moving up and onto those walls. While those are moving, we are also just about ready to breach the walls. In fact, we have breached the walls and are now moving into the enemy settlement. Another blade wind comes in. Blackguard head towards those enemy shadow warriors and a gate guard as well. The shareholders ripping them apart together with the death hag. Fantastic. And in the meantime, our two masters have gone after the enemy prince here. Knock down that enemy lord and cause a bit of a morale shock. A little bit of help from the anti-large on those blackguard, and the enemy lord will fall. Malekith has now again arrived and is going to help with the units on the walls a little bit in a few seconds once he's done casting some spells and going after that handmaiden of the Everqueen. And 2 hits bring her down to about 10% HP. One more hit if Malekith doesn't miss. Looks like she's going to be able to get out of there. But it's okay because she is shattered and will not come back. Looks like we are well into the city now. The Hydra and the Charybdis moving forward. The Masters found another target as well, as they have chased down a Mage of Fire. And Malekith will now help the units up on top of the walls. Very briefly, however, as it looks like even despite Malekith's health, the Blackguard of Naggarond seem to have won up on the walls as well. Blackguard versus Phoenix Guard here. Seems like a very appropriate contest as well. And the former being a dark shadow of the latter. Can't wait till we get our Shadow Fire Guard as well. And the Manticore Lords should be closing in on that. Alright, and here comes Malekith to show the superiority of the Black Guard against the Phoenix Guard. Oh man, I should have sent the Black Guard that are named the Phoenix Guard up here, but they're down here somewhere. Yeah, they're down here. It's okay. And oh, well, if it isn't a noble leading the Phoenix Guard up here, you sure you want to fight Malekith with the Sword of Cain, buddy? Because I don't think that's going to, go so well for you. Anyway, the balance of power is about 70%, maybe actually 75% in our favor. This noble's down to about half HP, and another hit from Malekith will make sure that he loses a lot of it quickly. Malekith is still hurt, but has racked up 833 kills and 177,000 damage. Down goes that noble, and Malekith goes back into the fray. We should also get a little bit more of our mana back up, so we should have another heal in him if we need to do so. Imagine if he also had regeneration. But unless we take away his armor, there's no way to give it to him. Alrighty, and it looks like we've made it up the ramp. There are few enough enemy units remaining. Malekith casts one more Blade Wind, one more of that Cain Vortex, one more Black Dragon Breath, and just like that, the battle is ours. The Phoenix Guard will in fact, well, I guess they did get completely ripped apart by the double Vortex, but they were there with full HP for at least a few seconds before Malekith came in, and that, I guess, was just adding insult to injury. Anyway, there we go. The battle is ours. The Gaean Vale will fall, and Avalorn will be all that much weaker. I don't remember. Do we have the Neverqueen buff on Malekith? I don't remember if he's defeated Alariel before or not. I'm gonna have to double check that. Not that that one is all that important, but since he has the defeated Tyrion and Teclis, he should also have the defeated Alariel trait as well. Anyway, I'm going to speed up through this, just going to try to chase down at least a few more of the enemy units. Probably not going to do anything crazy there, but just in case it'll give us an extra little bit of bonus. I'm still not sure whether it does or it doesn't, but why not? Not going to make much of a difference in terms of time. And just wanted to hit the units that were in range and still had a fairly large formation. There we go. Close victory for us. It's a little bit of a shame that the Gaean Vale doesn't have a special map, but oh well. I expected this place to be a lot more tree-y than it is. Although it is still reasonably tree-y, it's just that we've seen the map before. Anyway. Alrighty, very, very nice. That certainly did take some effort. It was, after all, a high-tier, well-defended main settlement, the capital of Avalorn, with a lot of elite units in the garrison, plus an additional stack as well. Those eagles, in particular, were also quite irritating, mostly because Malekith has a difficult time breaking through them in terms of mass. It's a little bit surprising the way that aerial mass works, in the sense that eagles can a single eagle can easily block a dragon and not allow it to move. I do hope that someday that there is a little bit of a rework of that. On the other hand, 1,000 kills and over 200,000 damage for Malekith. He certainly brought it home. The Sword of Cain effect was able to be used twice, plus he had a couple of nice Blade Winds and Chill Winds and Soul Stealers in there. He's a heck of a caster, and he's getting real fighty, and he doesn't even have his fighty skills yet. Alrighty, ain't grand. Now we can loot this or sack it for 31k, which is nice. I'm not gonna pretend that it's not nice, but I guess once again the question is whether it's actually worth it to do so right now. It's currently at level 4. We automatically lower it to level 3. If we sack it, we'll pop it down to tier 2, which will be, to be fair, a lot less than 31k or 32k. It will, however, take additional time to grow it back. So I guess the question is 32k worth the... I don't know how many turns it would take to level up to tier 3. Oh, and it's a magical 4. You know what? By virtue of the fact that it's a magical force, it's not worth it. Because the construction time here is plus 100%. It's going to take absolute ages to level the place up anyway, so I think we'll have to skip the money. Sad though it may be. We will take it at tier 3 and just try to grow it as best we can, because we want to get that vandalized Court of the Everqueen, though it will take a while to get there. A very, very long while. Oh well. In fact, immediately we may want to pop that slave drive just to increase growth, and we'll probably want to buff up the growth everywhere we can here. Can we increase growth in any way with this? No, we cannot. Okay, well then demand highborn hostages once again, and then we'll immediately go for slave drive. For growth, I guess we'll keep the Temple of Cain and stuff, but you know what? We may want to actually delete the guild halls, funnily enough. I mean, it's either that or delete the Shrine of Cain, and I feel like that's also not the way to go. Yeah, let's demolish this building for now, replace it with a growth building. Or, you know what, we could just build a growth building once it's up at tier... No, it's going to take ages to get to tier 4. Let's replace that with a growth building. And I guess Torsar War, we're going to do the same thing here. And just to speed up the... well, just to speed matters up, I guess. Anyway, with that, we are obviously very, very much out of time. It was a pretty glorious battle, though, I gotta say, especially with the number of kills that Malekith was able to get. Next time, well, I guess we'll continue moving possibly around this way. Depending on whether we want to send Kundaman out this way. In fact, wait, if we can have Morathi take the Tower of Lysaean, and then Kundaman can move out this way together with Furion if he can take one of the gates, whereas Malekith can loop back around this way through Torfanu and then the White Tower of Hoeth as well. And then back out this way all the way to Tor Everest, though it'll take a while to get there. We're certainly making headway on the donut, and within the next few episodes I expect that most of it will fall. There will be other stuff to do, I'm sure, but that'll be the main thing, so stay tuned for it. Don't forget to leave a like and comment. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.